Welcome to The Winning Hand, the podcast about Marvel Champions, one card at a time. My name is Boom Guy. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening. This is episode 81, as we are continuing our deep dive into Iceman with a look at Cryokinetic Perception. I'm very excited for this one, and we have a special guest, another big Iceman fan with me, so I'm excited to introduce him as well. We are going to meet the guest in just a minute. We are also going to talk about what we've been playing recently. And then, as I said, we'll continue our deep dive, and then we'll finish off with some of the decks we made for Iceman to highlight this card, so stay tuned for that at the end. Before we get to all of that, let me just remind everybody, if you are listening on the audio podcast, please take 30 seconds to rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. That does really help. We've kind of stalled out on our ratings recently. It'd be nice to get those going again. It only takes a few seconds. I say it all the time. Please do that. If you're watching this on YouTube and you are somehow not subscribed and this was recommended to you, welcome. Hit subscribe and you'll get more of this talking about Marvel Champions. Okay, that's a lot. If you've already done those things and you don't want to do them, it would be awesome if you just share word of mouth with somebody who might like our show. Let them know that we're out there. All right, now let's get into our hosts for the day. I have with me my usual trusty companion, the Shadowfax to my Gandalf, Lazy Titan.
I'm here. I don't know how I feel about Shadowfax, but I'll let that one slide this time.
Hey, don't throw shade at Shadowfax, okay? Shadowfax
I'm not going to throw shade at Shadowfax, but I feel like, but in the context of you being Gandalf, that's kind of whack, I feel like. I don't know. I feel like that. I feel like that's a dig at me, and I don't like it.
You don't want to be the Lord of Horses. That's fine. We will move on from that one. We'll have to discuss that one after the episode because we'll
talk about this off mic. You'll be hearing from me.
Yeah, you'll be hearing from my people. I also have a new guest, first-time guest from the YouTube channel, the Charred Gambit. It's Mr. Char himself. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. And Lord of the Rings reference going over my head, but I'm catching up. I've been reading that one recently.
Ooh, okay. You're not normally a Lord of the Rings fan, is that right?
Literally have no... my first delve into the IP at all was reading the first book. I'm halfway through it, so...
Okay, well, this was a short guest appearance. Thanks for coming, Char.
We'll
talk to you never. The shortest guest appearance ever. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you enjoy it. I'm a big fan. So before we go any further, Char, I do have to ask, where does the name Char and the Charred Gambit come from?
Right, so a bit of etymology in the history of my name, I guess. It's not very complex. When I was 13, the Pokemon games were coming out on the 3DS, and I really liked Charizard, so that's where the name's from. Over the year, I've just been chopping off parts of it, so now it's Char as like my handle that I go by. When I was starting the channel, I was like, Marvel Champions is a card game. What's like a card game term? It's like a Gambit. Also, there's an X-Men character named Gambit. I felt like it all worked together, and the name came out.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the vegetable chard. You're not like a chard. Okay, it's a leafy green vegetable.
Well, it's spelled differently.
That's fine. It is spelled differently,
He's
but
charred as in burnt, not
burnt. Yeah,
I understand, but spelling is weird on the internet.
Right.
Okay, well, welcome. Is Charizard still your favorite Pokemon?
It is not, no. I have a couple others that are favorites of mine, but it's in the top 10 still.
The king.
Okay, we're going right into a tangent here at the top of the episode.
Usurped,
top 3
Pokemon. Metagross, Gallade,
Valid.
Charizard, probably.
Metagross is a underrated. Sleeper hit.
Underrated.
I'll forgive the Lord of the Rings thing for that.
Lazy Titan, top 3 Pokemon, go.
Top 3 Pokemon, easy. Mudkip, number 2. I'm gonna say. Oh man, this is now I'm thinking. I'm gonna say. You said Gallade is your second one?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go. Samurott, number 2, big water starter guy.
Okay.
And then number 3, gotta switch it up. I like. That's too close, man. There's too many Pokemon.
Lazy Titan, top 3. Where are you at?
We're gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go Blastoise.
Okay.
3 water starters.
Go on the water
starters. Nice.
I've always been a water starter guy. That's where I got my love of Mudkip. But
I'm basic. But I'm also really terrible with names. I really like Pikachu.
I was
classic.
I thought you were gonna say the electric mouse, and I was gonna.
I always liked Pikachu. I really like the whale. What's his name?
Wailord.
Wailord. That's the one. And I like the guy, the psychic guy with the spoons. What's his name?
Alakazam. Alakazam's valid. Alakazam's a great one.
Yeah.
When we went through, was it Emerald, Ruby?
Went through Ruby and Sapphire.
Sapphire,
yeah. Alpha Sapphire, so the remakes. But
we did those back in the day, and Alakazam was my guy. Okay, this is not a Pokemon podcast, but please forgive us, audience. Let's get into meeting Char a little bit deeper now that we've got to know the name, the etymology. So, Char, we have a couple questions that we ask everybody when they first come on the podcast, so I'm going to quick hit you with these. What's your favorite hero in Marvel Champions, Char?
Oof. So it's a bit tough. I have a couple favorites, but if it has to come down to why I made the channel and why I'm still playing the game, it's She-Hulk. That's my favorite hero in the game.
Okay, I love it. That was our last deep dive.
Late.
Couple months ago.
I am. I was a bit offended I wasn't on the deep dive. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that was well-known fact when that was coming out at all. So
it was. I didn't know that. So one of the reasons I came to you for the Iceman was I know you're a big Iceman fan, so I wanted to get you on this one.
He's an Iceman hit.
What is your favorite scenario? Ooh, okay. Amazing. I just went to see recently the Clue movie from 1985 in the theater again. It was re-released. That was a great time.
Nice.
When did you join the game, Char? When did you start playing? Like at what point in the game's life cycle?
So the biggest major release that came out after I started the game was Age of Apocalypse. So, and the only thing I remember buying on release day was Iceman, which is kind of why we're here today. So.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to have more Iceman talk in a minute.
Yeah.
What is your most common and or favorite player count?
Yeah, so I would say historically, before like the Con of Heroes, it was definitely solo. I barely played the game multiplayer. But I would say if we're cutting off all of those solos games I played for like a year and a half, nowadays, in terms of like the past couple months, it's like 4-player. Every weekend I sit down in a local and we play 4-player every weekend.
I love that. You've been growing your local, right? I remember talking to you at the con and you were kind of growing. Do you have a Discord channel or anything like that?
Yeah, so I do have a Discord server. It's in the San Antonio area if anyone's there. I was thinking of starting a local after having such a good experience at the con, so I grew it from nothing. I mean, there was people in the area who played, but it was 3 people, then it was 4 people, then it was 7, then it was 8, then it was 9, and just kept going up from there. Like, we have a good turnout. It's pretty fun. It's really fun to be able to have that outlet every week, and like I don't have to go every week, but I usually end up doing it anyways. So
I love that. Can I put a link to that Discord in the description of this so people can find it? Okay, so if you're in the South Texas, San Antonio area, that is definitely one to check out. Now, what is your favorite aspect?
I love a lot of the aspects in this game. There's one I like a little less than others, and it might get someone on this podcast very mad. But my favorite currently is protection.
Okay.
I feel like Boom Guy, I know he's known to get a little mad, but I feel like if you say you don't like leadership, he's not going to like fight you.
Oh, yes, of course. That leadership is what I was referring to. Not the red one. It could never be the red one.
Yeah. If he survived the Lord of the Rings disrespect, then he will survive I don't know.
I like aggression. It's just not for me. That's my synopsis of the aspect.
Aggression's been a slow burn for me. It's becoming my favorite aspect.
Wow, okay.
I really didn't used to get along with it at all, but it has grown, and I have grown as a player, and it might be my favorite these days.
It's for the high skill players. I get it. It happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Char, I'll give you another chance at the end, but while we're here, why don't you tell people like who you are, what you do, where to find you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I guess where to find me, it's at Charred Gambit on basically everything, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. I don't really use those other ones super often other than YouTube, but you can just find me on YouTube. I upload my Marvel Rewind series, which is like the retrospective of going through the game in terms of the products that had been out at that point. That one's kind of coming to an end in the tail end of this year in a way. Other than that, it's just a lot of discussion videos and kind of whatever I feel like uploading. So kind of the discussion stuff is kind of like podcast-ish style. Like there's not a ton of visuals on it. It's kind of me just talking about the game, talking through the game. I have people in the community. We get on chat about whatever's on top of mind. And It's basically it.
I love it. I'll put links to, at the very least, your YouTube page down below. I'm not going to link your Twitter or whatever else. Yeah, if you're a disinformation bot and you're still on Twitter, then you can feel free to check out the Charred Gambit. Anyway, so let's move on to the next bit, which is I asked Char to bring with him a content creator to recommend, ideally not one of the big ones everyone knows about, Nelson. No offense, Nelson, but hopefully something that's a little bit smaller. So did you bring a content creator that you want to talk about and share with us today, Char?
I did, yes. The content creator is a good friend of mine in the community, Abi Small, or his channel as he goes by, MC Deck Discussion. So he's all about building his own decks, talking about building for solo specifically. I know there's a ton of solo content on YouTube, and there's a ton of people who watch solo content, so if that's something that's interesting to you. He just has really good discussions, and now he's kind of dipping his toes a little bit into not like recorded gameplay like physical cards, but kind of talking through how the deck works instead of just making them too. So, he's even advancing in that aspect. It's really cool.
I love the MC Deck Discussions. He's got a great channel. He's a pretty small channel still, a really well-kept secret because he's got really in-depth conversations about decks, and then it's not just his decks. He takes other people's decks from the community and kind of dissects them or puts them up against decks that he's built and compares and contrasts, and really goes in depth on why cards are included, the synergies he's using, how to pilot things. Yeah, that's a great call. I also quite like that channel. I don't remember if we shouted him out before or not. If we did, it was so long ago, we should shout him out again. So I will also put a link to that one. Longtime listeners and viewers will know I often forget to put those links, but I will try. Otherwise, it's at MC Deck Discussions on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that was a lot of talking between Char and I. So we're going to switch into what we've been playing recently. But I am going to go first anyway because it's my podcast. And then I'll let Lazy Titan go next. So what have I been playing recently? I have been playing a ton of Iceman. So prepping for this deep dive, I've been playing Iceman in different aspects and going back to him. Now, for the deck piece that we're going to talk about later, during our She-Hulk deep dive, and I mentioned this in the last episode, introducing the deep dive with Iceman, but during the She-Hulk deep dive, I really kind of burned myself out. I built 4 different decks, one each week, and posted. I did start doing a few months ago this where I post a deck each time, and then people share decks with the card of the day, and I link them inside the deck description of the deck that I post so people can find them. I did that with She-Hulk, but one every week was too much. I kind of burned myself out. So for this time, for Iceman, I had one original deck last week, and then the rest of them are probably going to be decks I've already built before that I just kind of will talk about again. There's only so many hooks you can build with each hero, I feel like, and I already have built a number of Iceman decks because I like him, and just I don't want to populate just a bunch of decks that are kind of regurgitating what I've already done. So we'll get to that, but I've been playing a bunch of my old ones. I really think Iceman is awesome in all aspects. I've been playing a ton of him in Justice. I think solo, he works really well in Justice. I've been playing Aggression. I love kind of modified precon that he has. Later on, I'm going to talk about a protection deck that I really, really like with him. And I've been trying to make pool work. It doesn't work as well for me as it seems to work with other people, but I do love just that free ready. Or not free, but he gets a ready every turn. With the pool aspect, and the triple resources help smooth out some payment stuff. He has some payment issues sometimes. But yeah, I've been playing a ton of Iceman. He's super fun. I think anyone who's been along on the ride with me with Iceman knows I started off very disappointed. Did not like Iceman, but he grew on me, and I played him and played him and played him. He's in the top 10 for me easy. I love Iceman, so I'll play a ton of that. Iceman, be still my heart. Lazy Titan. What have you been playing, or what are you excited about?
Me, I have not been playing a lot of Marvel Champions recently. I got to be honest. I'm still cooling down from MCDC. I also had another big event right before that, so I've been nonstop gaming for a little bit. So I've just been kind of chilling out. I've looked at some decks that I see, but mostly I've just been trying to just not for a minute, because it's always a lot of games at the con, so I don't want to play a bunch of games at the con and then burn myself out and then not play for a long time. So I'm just gonna give myself a couple weeks, give it a minute. All my decks at the con were incredible, amazing, really, and I had a great time.
All right. Awesome. Do you have other games that you play when you're not playing Marvel Champions? Something that the viewers might enjoy?
Some of the viewers might enjoy. I think I've mentioned it before. I'm a big Warhammer guy. I've been playing that for a while. That was my other big event I went to. The Champions Cup, for those in the know. I played in that. And then I've been getting back into video games here and there. Been trying out some new stuff.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
just trying stuff out.
You know, sometimes we play things that aren't Marvel Champions. I play a lot of non-champion stuff. I actually took a pretty deliberate break before the con from Marvel Champions. Was feeling a little burned out after the first con and, you know, all the content that I make and everything else. I just kind of needed a break. So I took a number of weeks and just played other stuff. Didn't really think about champions that much. And that helped me to kind of rejuvenate. So, Char, what have you been playing recently?
Yeah, so I wasn't lucky enough to visit the con this year, but that being said, I have my week that I go to. So I've got a good pace with champions, it feels like, recently. And so some of the stuff I've been bringing recently, I tried Quicksilver again. I don't know if I've really got it to work very well, but I'm trying. He takes a bit to get around to, in my opinion. Playing some Cyclops, probably one of my top 5 heroes, but not in leadership. I'm trying different aspects with him. What else? What else have I been playing? I did end up playing Vision pretty recently. It hasn't been my most recent plays, but I did revisit him. He was very fun in Justice. I'll say that much. I don't know. I don't have a ton of knowledge in the other aspects, but Justice, I've had a great time. And I think the last one I brought, I can't even remember. I think it was a Scarlet Witch deck. That's another hero I'm not usually fond on, but being able to search out Chaos Magic with Hope Summers is just something that's like really funny. So I've been making decks built around that.
I think you and I share a lot of similar tastes, Char, because Scarlet Witch is also one that had, just from the beginning, I've never really clicked with. People really like her. She's just been one I never really find all that engaging. For me, maybe it's a playstyle thing. Maybe I just don't get it. I don't know. But people always kind of rave about her, and I always feel left a little cold. Pun for a segue later. With her, she just, I don't know. I always feel just kind of like it's fine, but it doesn't do anything for me.
I feel like you have to love the hex bolts. For me, I found that in multiplayer, I have a lot more fun just spamming the hex bolts because they're actual things to use all the effects on. But like if you play her in lower player count and you're doing well at controlling the board, the hex bolt is like 2 threat. Oh, well, there's no threat. Or like 2 damage. Well, there's no minions. So I guess I'll do it to the villain. Like, I don't know. Like you have to like really be, I think it's a give and take. I'm not a huge fan of the hex bolt card, but I feel like it's her best and biggest hook for a lot of people. So that's probably why, I bounce off her kind of naturally.
Yeah, same. No, I think we have some similar tastes.
I like Scarlet Witch. I think she's fun.
You like Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, I love a good hex bolt here and there. I will say that sometimes when you are really cooking and you play like your 3rd hex bolt, sometimes if you just spin a little unlucky, they don't really do anything. Sometimes they just like draw you 3 cards and you end up exactly where you were, or sometimes you just get like a tough card and then draw a card and it feels like you didn't really do anything. But Hexbolt is good. I also just think that being a Mystic is awesome, and Chaos Magic is a really fun card to just be able to on demand play. Just it's a great opener card. Just sets up whatever you want instantly. You get a free Avengers Mansion is the dream, obviously, or a Helicarrier or a Symbiote Suit or whatever. So I think she's fun, but I can see definitely the Hexbolt complaint. It's a weird card.
It's a good card. I just I feel like a lot of play loops with her kind of spam that card, and it just becomes a little tedious. Okay, so let's get into the card of the day then. I have the lights behind me. If you're watching this on the YouTube, we are theming the lights again. Here we are, Iceman back again. Okay. So this, obviously, I'm going to share the card, and then Char, if you wouldn't mind reading the card for us, and then we will get into the discussion of it.
Got it.
Here is the card of the day.
All right, so let's get to this. So we're looking at this card, Cryokinetic Perception. It is a 2-cost upgrade, superpower traded, that states hero response. After you resolve your freeze ability, exhaust this card. And then has a cost arrow, draw 1 card. If that card has the ice trait, ready Iceman. and then I can go into. You want me to read the flavor text or?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Anyone remember when I used to throw snowballs at Magneto? And then that's his quote.
I like that. It is also a mental resource if you choose
Yeah.
to spend it. I don't know why you would, but every card has a printed resource, or just about every card. Okay, so the first category we always talk about is art. Obviously, this came from the Iceman pack, like every card we're talking about this month. So the art, Char, why don't you describe for people who are listening, what is the art? What are we looking at?
So you're kind of looking at like Iceman and it's kind of like nondescript background. Kind of looks like a battlefield of like smoke behind him. And then you just see him. He's like hand over hand with a bit of a gap in between. It's his left hand above his right. And he's kind of like has his eyes closed and he's concentrating on like generating a snowball. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And the flavor text would seem to imply that. But he's just concentrating, it seems, very intently in the midst of a battlefield. And it's just kind of like his waist up. You can kind of see like the power belt, so to say, from his kit on him. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just him, obviously I can't tell if he's wearing pants or just the power belt, but he obviously has no shirt or anything on. He's just, ice. He's got some like spikes on his shoulders and his hair. His like elbows, a little spiky ice too. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. Just like a orange, smoky kind of background, like you said, with ice particles everywhere. This is custom art by Bruno Frenda. This is not a name that I can remember seeing before.
This is a new one for me.
Yeah, but it's good custom art. Yeah.
Okay.
What else has Bruno Frenda done?
He's one of the, so usually it's Laura and the other one who does most of the hero arts, but he's been kind of on the come up with Joey Vasquez. He did Bucky, and I think he also did Silk. I think he did both of their arts.
That's probably why we haven't seen him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's one of my favorite artists from the game recently. I'm a really big fan of what he does.
Up and coming star.
Okay. He also did 3 of the cards in his Nemesis set.
Yeah.
I'm just finding out now, including Pyro himself. Okay. Bruno Frenda is not one I've seen a lot of, so I like this. Okay, so let's look at the art and kind of give some thoughts. What do we think about this? And then part of the art is also, like graphic design,
right?
Which I know Char is into.
Yes.
So let's talk about the overall graphic design, just like of Iceman's kit, because they're all kind of the same. And then the art on here. What do we think?
I mean, I could jump in if you're saying like the colors they chose. I think. I think it really looks sleek. I mean, like there's not a ton you can do because he's ice, so it's a lot of blue. But I think that the blues they chose are pretty, like, at least to me, satisfying to look at. A big part of why this was the first new release is just because I thought his cards looked really cool. And I don't know. I think the graphic design is displayed pretty well.
Yeah. I love a color scheme that jumps out from the aspects. So I'm always a little bummed when a character has, like, the same color essentially as one of the aspects. And it's not as harder to sort out, but it just doesn't stand out as much when you're playing. I have to say the little face in the corner, I like this one. Generally,
I was going to say the same thing.
You need a mask to make them look good, but this one looks really good. And special shout out to something I don't usually talk about, the little icon that denotes the set.
Ooh,
the very, very small one. This is a really, really good one. Some of them are kind of meh. It's like an icicle hanging down. It feels very thematic. I just want to shout that out. I quite like this one, actually.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, I do like this one a lot. He's obviously made of ice, but it's interesting how they kind of give him like regular, like he has like muscles and stuff out of ice, which is just kind of an interesting. Because is he just like a guy covered in ice, or is he made of ice?
I think he's made of ice, but I'm not. I'm not a comic.
But he can switch.
Guy.
Okay, so we have no comics, guys, which means this is the perfect time to take a big swing. So let's just say he's made of ice, which means that's kind of neat, kind of a cool little design, and also Iceman's kind of shredded. He's a little lean.
Yeah, he's been hitting the ice gym,
I guess. Or does he make himself out of ice and he can be
gets it from ice skating? That's where he gets the physique from.
Powerful.
I love that. That's his exercise of choice. I feel like there's a dad joke in there somewhere. Okay, so that's kind of the art. I think the art here is good. Not
Yeah.
amazing, but really solid.
Yeah,
I'll,
I agree.
I'll jump in on the art kind of.
Yeah.
I think as a fan of the artist, I'll be honest, not that this is bad by any means. I like a ton of his work in this game. This one's a bit subdued. It's he's concentrating, and I think what it does, I think it kind of, if we're looking at like how it thematically ties into like how this card functions, I think it does its job really well. It's like he doesn't always hit it. He's got to concentrate on it. But I don't know. I feel like it's fine. It completes its purpose.
Yeah.
I like the effect work. I like kind of the flurries around him, but yeah.
And I think I'm glad you hit on the thematics of it there, because that's our next category, so we can just seamlessly slide there.
Excellent.
Char is a fellow professional, so he knows how to segue a
Great
conversation.
segue. He knows, just like we do, that a segue is best when pointed out.
Of
Bingo.
course.
So we're talking about the thematics of it. How thematic is this card? Like, does the card and the art and little things like the cost and the flavor text and the title, all that stuff kind of come together to give us a sense of this card's overall function and theme?
I would say for the most part it does, and I might be doing a swing and a miss. I feel like the kind of the flavor text doesn't really tie into it. I feel like it's the thing that stands out the most from it, because it's like, Iceman's kind of like this Peter Parker-ish similar, Johnny Storm similar, where he's cracking jokes a lot, and I feel like this isn't the card that kind of really represents that almost at all. I don't know. I feel like that might be a mismatch for me.
I don't disagree. I think that kind of misses. I do really like the art, like you mentioned, and how it ties into the theme here. I really like how he's concentrating, and it seems like he's absorbing all these particles from the air to like make a snowball, and so like pulling the ice toward him. Thematically, just the way that works with pulling the card into your hand, and if it's ice, you get a benefit. I think that is really, really great for theme. Yeah, Lazy Titan?
I will say I do like, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like this is the thing they do with some of the X-Men, which is his Cryokinetic Perception is basically just the fancy word for his power. It's just the scientific way to say ice power. And I like that some of the X-Men have that kind of style of card of like, Cyclops has his ruby quartz visor, like giving what feels like scientific names to obviously like these like magic powers. I think is kind of fun. And I like that it's the one of his cards where you just see him kind of focusing on his powers and using them. Normally he's just like shooting ice or sliding on his little skate, but it's where you see him kind of like practicing it. I think is kind of cool. I will agree that I think the flavor text doesn't match what I think the vibe of the card is going for, but I could also totally see that line. It feels to me like the next thing he says in the next comic panel, where he like makes a snowball and then goes, "Anybody remember when I used to throw snowballs at Magneto?" and then throws a snowball at somebody.
It's
Feels
almost like it's a gag, right? Like he's concentrating so hard for a couple panels, and then he instantly breaks it once he's got it, and he's like, boom.
Yeah, it feels like he's setting up for some kind of gag to throw a snowball at somebody. So it doesn't break that for me. I like it. I think it's fun. I will say on the art of it, I, even as an unbiased player, I do really like playing Iceman in aggression, because the red with his like cool icy white blue is a very good combo.
Yeah, I agree with the flavor text. I do think like the vibe of the art is that he's like meditating or like focusing really hard, like he's about to unleash his like big attack, and that doesn't really jive with the jokey snowball comment. So that's a good shout by Char. Yeah, I feel like he's about to go like Super Saiyan, and he's like focusing. You know what I mean? You feel me? Yeah, but overall, I think the theme of it, like the Cryokinetic Perception, the title of it, like he's perceiving the ice particles and pulling the card out, is cool, and I like it. And then, of course, the power of this card is really, well, Char, why don't you start here?
Yeah, I think when we were originally rummaging around the idea of this episode, I had a lot to say about this card, because I felt like it was I don't know if it was a vocal minority, or like maybe I felt like I was going crazy, but I feel like in a lot of places people were just like only focusing on like the negative, and I put in quotations, negative aspect of this card of missing the ready. And they weren't focusing on the fact that it's an Avengers Mansion for half the cost. And it was driving me up the wall because regardless if you get the ready or not, it is a character that incentivizes you to use your basic attack or defense activation. And for doing that, you literally get rewarded by getting a card draw, which like so many heroes, they have resource generators, they have this, they have that. He gets a new card, which is probably the most powerful form of economy support in the game. Also, it's a superpower, so you can like discount it with Death Focus that he wants to run anyways. So
Go get it with Hope Summers.
Exactly.
I think this card is his best card. And
Yes.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
even close, to be honest. I think this card is really strong. It is like the card in his kit, but not in the way that like Iceman's helmet is. Like he still works without this card, but this just is like his strongest card by some distance, I think. Lazy Titan?
I think I agree. I think it hits the one of the classic downfalls of card game design that I see a lot, and it works on me too, is that as long as there are words on this card that say if that card has the ice trait ready Iceman, it will always feel bad to not hit an ice card. No matter that you're drawing a free card, gamers are greedy inherently. We like greed,
Yep.
we like value, and we need to jump through all the hoops. So yes, this is Avengers Mansion where you have to exhaust, but you get to use your basic power, so it doesn't matter. And it draws you a card, and it can also give you a free ready. So it's just a better Avengers Mansion with better keywords. Not the ice trait though, which is weird. But as long as it gives you the option, it will never feel as good.
Yeah.
It's the
but
same.
just-
It's the same thing with like we're talking about She-Hulk earlier. The Gamma Slam that says max 15. If you get Gamma Slam for anything less than 15, it feels bad because it says it there. It puts the limit on the card. It says this is what you could do, and so anytime you can't reach the bar, you feel like you failed, which is arguably a terrible mindset. But it is kind of how I think people think about this card. But yes, this card's very good.
Yeah. I mean, 3 effective resources, right, to have card draw for the rest of the game is incredible.
Yeah.
It's extremely good.
Like, regardless of what you're drawing. And he's going to do his freeze ability every time.
You do it once
So-
around for sure.
Yes. Now, unfortunately, you exhaust this, so, you're not going to just keep drawing cards.
Imagine.
There's no way to ready it. It's not like Iron Will, which is just like an insane card. Just keep drawing cards. I mean, with that said, though, would this card be just like completely broken if you didn't exhaust it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
You know how many ways there are to ready in this game?
I'm already thinking about him in pool. You have the stick-to-itiveness, and then you ready off the Utopia, and then you like ready off Professor X coming into play, and then
You ready out
you're
Utopia, you got stick-to-itiveness, or you leading blow. He also can get aerial, which means you can do the ever vigilant.
Yeah.
It means you can do it like it is. You could ready him
Okay.
3 times a turn pretty consistently,
Okay.
and then
that's
you
fair.
just go.
Indomitable.
There's got to be an X-Men that
cost ready.
readies him.
Okay. That's fair. You're right. You're
yeah,
right. There's way too
Desperate
many ways
Defense,
already.
Indomitable, like protection becomes insane, and then like he just.
I'm just trying to think of ways to hit more cards. I'm greedy. Okay.
See,
like
you're,
you said,
you're
Lester.
already doing
I'm
it. You're
greedy.
already doing the greed. This card
I'm
draws you
greedy.
a card every turn for 2 cost and readies you 50, like 40% of the time probably, and you're still
Yeah.
sitting there. But what if it didn't exhaust? What if I could use this
What if I
forever?
could just keep drawing? Yeah.
that we end up with
No, I
Rocket.
know. Is this a strong enough card that you build a deck around this card? Like, do you really focus Iceman around this? What do you guys think?
I don't think it has
Go
to do with the strength of the card, but more of just the style of card. This to me is not a build around card because it does exhaust. There's no way to build into this card.
Right.
You
like we just
can't
talked about.
build towards it. You can't
Can't abuse it.
abuse it, and you almost can't not use it because it's just use your basic ability. So like it's kind of free. It's just one of those cards that you can't. It's like building around a super soldier serum or like the shield. You just have it. It's just a dope thing you do. So basically, you can just read Iceman, his hero card, as every time you use a basic activation, draw a card, and if it's an Iceman card, you ready yourself.
I can jump in. So what I would
Yeah.
say is it kind of important about this card where it's not necessarily like an aspect or a specific card build around. I think this card determines how you build Iceman decks. I think it's the other way around. And the main reason why I say that is because as card game players, we're inherently greedy. As a person who doesn't really subside by like the 40 card deck rule, every single Iceman deck I make has 40 cards in it because I want to ready off this card. So I think that that's like kind of a deck building lever that this card doesn't force you to do it. You can go above and it's still just drawing you a card, but your readies are less consistent. So like if that's something that you really want to do in that build, that's a way that you could build for it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it encourages me to have those turns where I spread as many Frostbites out as I can, and then flip and shuffle a ton of ice cards back in, hopefully all of them into a thinner deck, right? And then you're just gonna, when you flip back up, you're just hitting it every time. That's always fun.
Agreed.
I think, I mean, I said that this is his best card. Do you guys agree? Is this his best card?
For me, I think it comes down to, I'm trying to think of his cards.
I think it probably is.
Yeah, I would say the only thing that's probably in contention, and I'm not going to try and start a debate on his best card. I think the 3 cost. I'm thinking wrapped in metal, the one that encased in ice, or what's it called?
Yeah.
Frozen Solid.
Yeah, Frozen
Solid.
I think that's probably there. Not nearly as close to this. I think this is still his best card by far, but I think that's probably would be my next in my opinion.
Agree. I think that's his second best card. Pretty easily for me.
Yeah.
That card is incredible.
Yeah, it's very good.
Especially in solo games, that just gives you so much latitude.
It's the wall. It's always the wall.
I've come around on the wall. I don't think it's that bad. I'm not even lying. I think it's fine.
I also think the wall is pretty good. Especially as a non-Iceman player, I love the wall. The wall's great.
Yeah. I think the wall just suffers because it costs 4. Like it's just your entire turn, and that is
it's
hard,
very hard to
for a card that doesn't pay
card.
off right away.
4-cost cards are hard to balance.
And because you have a 3-cost Frozen Solid, and so like I would just play a 3-cost Frozen Solid over the 4-cost wall every single time.
Yeah.
Even if they were the same cost, I'd pay the. So it's hard. I think, again, in solo games when I play Iceman, like Frozen Solid is just the one I shuffle in every single time when I flip down, and it's just so good. You can just stomp villains that have stalwart, like Thanos can just he can just go kick rocks because he's Frozen Solid, and I just don't care. And that's awesome. I think I agree. Frozen Solid is the second best card. This is, I think, not even close. I think by some measure, this is his best card. It's very, very strong. Everybody wants to draw cards, like we talked about. And then the last category we have is fun. So, like, how fun is this card to play? Are you excited when it enters your hand? Does it feel like satisfying, or is it just kind of that pure efficiency, that Johnny play? What do you guys think?
I think it's just the pure efficiency for me. It's just, it's a great setup card. It's cheap, so you just put it down, and then you immediately draw a card off it, and then you just, for the rest of the game, your hand size is effectively 6. And that's kind of all it needs to do. Yeah,
I was going to jump in. For me, I think, especially on the same vein, if it's in your first 1 or 2 hands, you're like, that the boost of dopamine of even finding the card, I think for me is like, oh, this is going to be a good game, versus it being at the bottom of your deck. But also, I think it has a kind of like that sinister lever in the other direction, which is when you don't get the readies, you're like, why didn't this ready me? Or like, what's going on with my deck? So like, you can actually hit the negative emotions with it. It hits you in all the range, I think.
Yeah, there's times when I'll plan my turn around getting that ready.
Yeah.
And then you don't get it, and you're like, like that sucks. Now, I had kind of banked on getting it. I think for me, this card is fun, and it's almost, I've played a lot of Iceman. I almost hard mulligan for this card. Like, if I draw 6 and it's not in there, I will often toss them all to try to get this, because it just speeds up how many cards you get and how much of this deck that you see. Not always, depending on the deck, there may be other like key components that I'm looking for, but this is one that I will often be tempted to just say, like, you know what, just toss all this stuff and let's try to go get the Cryokinetic Perception.
It's also kind of his only built-in setup card, I think, off the top of my head.
His power belt gives him
the power
health
belt
and a resource generator.
So, but like those two. So maybe I wouldn't pitch the power belt, but everything else, especially in your first turn, you don't need as much. Most of his other cards are more just like board control. So I feel like you don't need a Frozen Solid turn 1. You're trying to get Cryokinetic and the power belt out.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I think, okay, any other thoughts on this one? Or are we feeling pretty good about it?
I love this card. It's the strongest card, and I had a lot of thoughts back then that have cooled down since now. I think people have come around and realized how this card's just insanely good.
I have to, Char, since you're here and you're a fellow Iceman fan, I have to ask you, how do you feel about the ice slide?
Okay, oof. This is interesting.
Hard questions.
So, yeah, when I originally Iceman was the first deck I ever built, and so like I put in like Ever Vigilant because I'm like, oh, he has the ice slide, and then I played it a couple times, and I was like, man, this is not the deck to be playing Ever Vigilant. It's just not consistent enough. That being said, it's just really dependent if the card ever hits the table. On the other side of Cryokinetic, you never want this card at the bottom of your deck, right? But if the ice slide is at the bottom of your first deck pass, usually I find it sticks on the table the rest of the game. Like, let's say I flip down, shuffled a couple cards back, and I flip up, I find it, I'll play it. I mean, it depends on the build, and it depends on what you're going for. I don't have any ideas of like what his worst card would be. It's probably near the bottom because I just hate that it gets discarded. I understand why, I guess, but no, I don't know. I like it, but it's frustrating. That's kind of my analysis on it.
Yeah, I find it's the card of his outside of the wall that I like am most likely to not play. I think the wall, like we talked about, is definitely a playable card, but I often don't because there's just something better to do and his economy is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like the ice slide is the same thing. I often look at it and think, oh, this is fun. But then, like, I don't know. I don't like investing the resources that then I'm going to have to flip and lose it again. So it depends on how close I am to flipping. I find it's one of those I'll often have and then think, just pitch it and pay for something else. It almost feels win more to some degree. Like if you don't ever need to flip down and you have this out the whole game, like you probably didn't need it anyway. I don't know if that's true or not, but
it's weird. Yeah, it's probably my least played card. I mean, if I'm going by that same analysis, it feels bad to lose it. Like I don't want to play something knowing I'm gonna lose it, basically. So.
Yeah. I struggle with Shuri too, knowing when to pitch her upgrades. Now we're totally off topic.
Yeah.
But that's another one. Like I play these upgrades and then I'm like, I don't want to lose it just to get a tough. Like
greed.
Yeah.
It's the weakness of every gamer. I get it. I get it. But
you're right there. You're one of us.
Once you release it, I've ascended. I have achieved nirvana. And now that I am looking down on the mortals from my ascended plane, it really is so it's kind of a little bit we were talking about earlier, Char, is it's kind of also it's how I play aggression. It's why I like it the most is because I don't have to, like early I was also very much like a build up a board, set up the game, make sure like I would never go and try and kill the villain until like every minion was dead and all the side schemes were clear. Like we have to fully control the board and then we go for the win. But like once you kind of realize that you can win the game without the most optimal play, you just kind of hit stuff.
Yeah.
And it's great. You just play red cards, and red cards have big numbers, and then the minions go away, and it's great.
Well, I would say, like in red specifically, the ice slide probably has a home because that extra 3 defense, you don't even, I mean, obviously your basic activation goes up to 3, but red is not always synonymous with rush, but at a point in the game, if you're playing it solo or 2-player, you just like kind of ignore the acceleration tokens or the minions that don't have guard. And if you ignore all that stuff, you just like defend with your 3-4 defense from the frostbite, and then you just hit them with red events.
3 defense is like I'm probably like most people. I try and just use whatever stat's the best, right? If I have 3 of anything, I'm probably going to use that. But defense kind of just wins ties for me. If I have the same stats if any my stats are the same, my defense is going to be the one I use the most. Defending for 3 is so good. It's so much better than just attacking for 3 with a basic activation, I feel like.
My issue with the defense with Iceman, and we're a little off topic of the card of the day, but we have a fellow Iceman lover, so listeners, just bear with me. I think the issue is that he is disincentivized, of course, to thwart because it doesn't trigger freeze. his basic thwart, and he's disincentivized really to defend because he loses the frostbite right away. So I feel like if I defend, then on my turn, I'm exhausted unless I manage to draw an ice card here and ready myself. But let's assume, you might end up exhausted and the frostbite fell off. And that's really the big thing, because then you have no frostbites out. So you can't flip and shuffle things. You can't play off of the frostbite some of those other cards that want them out there. I just feel like it almost feels wasteful. And so to me, I always feel like I shouldn't be basic defending because I want to get those frostbites out on my turn to take advantage of them and use them later. Do you ever feel like that, Char?
I would find that it really depends on the board state, because I agree with you. I'm a person who had taken a while to come around to, I think, protection and basic defending in general. And I would say on Iceman specifically, it feels better to basic attack with him because of that frostbite. But it's also really aspect dependent. If I have like an easy ready, I'm like fine with hitting the defense. But most of the time, I'm kind of like you. I'll face tank the hit just so I can attack and use it proactively. It just depends on HP, player count, kind of deck I'm playing, but I would say I don't have an aversion to the basic defense, I would say.
Okay. And we're going to find out more later because, spoiler alert, we both built protection decks, but they're very different.
I am...
okay, so go ahead.
I'm kind of anti, unless I'm building my deck to use my basic activations, I'm kind of just going to default to defending. Two attack is like fine. 2 thwart is fine, but I'd rather just like play an event and take 2 less damage. That I can make that work. Unless I'm playing a deck that's specifically designed to use one of my stats, then I will focus on that. But I will say that is an upside of the basic defense deck. If you build around your basic defense, then on your actual turn, you can just use, if you're ready for some reason, you can just use your basic attack or thwart for free. And it feels like a bonus. And then you just ready up.
That is a take. Thank you, Lazy Titan. All right, let's move into final thoughts. And since Char is the guest, I will let him have the final word on the card of the day. So, Lazy Titan, why don't you start and give us your final thoughts on Cryokinetic Perception?
Cryokinetic Perception. I'm going to start off with the rating. I'm going to give this card an 8. I think this card is very good. It's very powerful, as we talked about. It has art, which I like. It's not super dynamic, but I do like the kind of harsh above lighting. It's cool. The glowing snowball's fun. It's very powerful. It's thematic, I feel like. It feels like he's about to throw a snowball at somebody, which I think is the intended purpose. And I think it's fun to draw extra cards. So I'm just going to give it a solid 8. Of course, 5 being true neutral. I think this card is well above average.
Okay. I am going to come in and give this card, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I was trying to find reasons to not give it 10. I think the art is good, but not amazing. I think the flavor text is a solid, beefy 2-line flavor text, but, could be a little more relevant to the art maybe. I love the face in the corner, and I love the little symbol for the set. So that's all great. I love the colors. The ability is amazing. Like, it's so strong to just consistently draw cards every turn, and sometimes ready, which is even better. It only costs 2. Crazy. It's superpower traded if you want to discount it. I just think this card is incredible, and it's his strongest card easily. It's really fun. It makes him a lot more playable. The games where this is buried at the bottom of my deck for the first pass, I definitely notice a slower pace of game with Iceman. I think having this out early versus not makes a big difference to how he plays and how he feels. So for me, this is a 10 out of 10 card. Love this card. Char, what do you think?
I was similar to you. Like, what I had all the time in the world to think about what I'd give this as a rating. It's not going to be any surprise. I love this hero. I love this card. It's a 10 out of 10 for basically every reason you just said. I really love the colors they chose to represent Iceman. And it's just really fun, really thematic. And there's always a card, I would say, in most of the great heroes in this game, which I consider Iceman one of the greats, one of my favorites. There's always a card that is like the centerpiece, or like the center point of the deck, the card that keeps you coming back, or like makes it all work together thematically, mechanically, and everything in between. This is that card for him. It's great. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Did you do the big ranking that everyone did recently for the heroes?
Yes, I did.
Where did he end up? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I don't remember off the top of my head. We can continue, but I should be able to find it really quickly. I think he was in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
no.
was, he was in the top 10. I don't remember exactly where, but he was in the top 10 for me. He's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's really, really big fan.
LT, where are you at on Iceman overall?
I don't remember where he was on my list, but off the top of my head, I would say he's top half for sure. I think he's probably like my number 25, 27, 20. He's good.
Yeah.
He's fun. I have not played him in a minute, but I remember when he first came out and you were very against him. I tried him in aggression and I liked it. But I don't know if I've really played him a ton since. But every time I play him, I do enjoy it. He feels like he's got a fun little flow. I've never understood the thing you say where you feels bad to defend and lose the frostbite immediately. You have +1 defense. That feels good. But
For me, I just look back at my rankings. He came in at number 3 for me. He
Wow.
was my third favorite behind Vision and Captain America. I really, really like Iceman. Did you find it?
Yes, I did. He was my 6th. So just outside the top 5, he got beat
It's-
out by, well, She-Hulk, obviously, Cable, Cyclops, Black Panther, and Miss Marvel.
Which Black
Some
Panther?
Great. 4 box.
OG. Okay.
Evil,
Shuri's
Cyclops,
10,
Black
though.
Panther.
So they're both in the top 10.
Interesting picks. Picks.
Well, okay. So that was all of our final ratings. Now we're going to go into decks. So I'm going to stop sharing the card of the day. Now, since you're the guest, Char, you have the choice. Would you like to present your deck first, or would you like to present your deck second?
Ooh. I'll let you go first, because I have a bit of an anecdote with mine, so I don't want it to tail end. Yeah.
Well, then let me share mine here. I'm going to crop this window because no one wants to see the GIF looping endlessly that I have in the description. Okay, so let's.
We don't want
go
to see
here.
Shuri land another 45 times.
I know that was one when we recorded recently. Shuri just landed over and over again. Okay, this one is called the Indomitable Iceman, so you already have a clue. As a protection deck is 41 cards. Again, this is not a new deck, so you'll see it was not published recently. This is a deck I did before the Con of Heroes and played there, so I'll read the list. It includes no additional allies, but it has events. I have 3 copies of Come Get Me Bub, 3 copies of Desperate Defense, 3 copies of Never Back Down, and 3 copies of What Doesn't Kill Me. I have Energy, Genius, and Strength, 2 copies of Team Building Exercise, 2 copies of Anticipation, 1 copy of Def Focus, 3 copies of Indomitable, 1 copy of Nerves of Steel, and 1 copy of Unflappable, and 1 copy of X-Gene. So the idea of this deck is you're going to defend, and the idea is to defend for multiple people. And I have a write-up down below. Oh, there's the GIF. Everyone can see it. So anyway, the idea is to get the frostbite out. So you're going to use Desperate Defense whenever you have it to ideally ready yourself. You're going to get up to just like without the slide, you're going to get up to a base of 5, right? You'll be able to defend and hopefully ready. And then if you can use Cryokinetic Perception then, or you can wait. Usually I just play Desperate Defense. If you don't take any damage, I trigger Unflappable instead and then ready up. If you play Desperate Defense and you don't manage to ready, then you can hit Cryokinetic Perception and try to get the ready there. But basically you want to defend as often as possible. And Indomitable is here. Indomitable is not limited to 1 per player, amazingly. So you can just play all 3 copies out and use them when you want. That's what makes this card really, really great. And Indomitable is just going to be there if you hit Desperate Defense and you manage to take damage or whatever. You don't pull an ice card. You just discard Indomitable, ready up, and defend for the next person. Never Back Down is another one. It's effectively letting you in a multiplayer game defend multiple times, right? You're going to defend, hopefully stun the attacking enemy, which is essentially defending for the person behind you. And then the interaction of Come Get Me Bub and Anticipation is one that's really key to this deck too. Anticipation is 1 per player, but when you engage a minion, you discard Anticipation to ready. So Come Get Me Bub is going to give you some healing and a tough card and a minion. Discarding Anticipation will ready you up again. And then Nerves of Steel is going to help you pay for your 2 6 defense events total, 2 copies of 3. And then X Gene and Def Focus and Team Building Exercise kind of help you round out the cost curve. It's really not meant to play your allies very much. You might to help defend, but it's supposed to defend the table in a multiplayer game, which it did. It's not Shadowcat. It's not my Colossus defense deck, which just defends a 4-player game pretty easily. There's times when you just don't have enough defenses in this deck, but it's fun to try to get as many as you can. So that is this one. Indomitable is really, really cool. I like that card with Iceman a lot. So
yeah, I was gonna say I think the deck's really cool. I think it's really solid, and it's like a different take than I took for mine that's coming up here. I like the Come Get Me Web anticipation stuff. And I think it works really well for what it's trying to do, which is defend people at the table. Let's do it.
Yeah, so this is super fun. I really like this one. I will stop sharing, and I will put a link to this one down below so people can see that, and I will also put a link to the next one that I'm coming up with here. I will share this, and I'll let you read the deck, Char, and then we can talk about it. So here it is. Make it a little bit bigger there. Okay, so go ahead, Char.
All right. So it's named Ready, Set, Freeze the Redux. And quick background from the name, the first deck I ever really built for myself was Iceman Protection. And I've changed a lot as a player and the number of player counts I usually play in since then. So this is a redo of that general idea. As opposed to how Boom Guy went in with 0 extra allies, I do have 7 in here. I think it's 5 extra. So we have the Angel basic ally, the Armor basic ally, Colossus basic ally. Armor's a protection ally. We got North Star protection ally, Polaris a protection ally. Then we're going down to events. We have 2 copies of Counter Punch from the core set, 1 copy of First Aid. Then we go down. We have 3 copies of What Doesn't Kill Me. Moving on to supports, I added in 1 copy of Helicarrier, 2 copies of Team Building Exercise, and 1 copy of the Night Nurse. And for our upgrades, we have 1 copy of Armored Vest, 1 copy of Def Focused, 1 copy of Electrostatic Armor, and then similar, we have 3 copies of Indomitable because it's not limited once per player, and 1 copy of Inflappable to wrap it up. The idea behind the deck is it's essentially, I found that as a player and kind of like in my play groups, I very rarely need to defend for all 4 people at the table. So this is kind of like an understanding and evolution of how I like to play the game and how my games usually shake out at my locals, where a lot of people were pretty aggressive with flipping down. So I don't need to be able to defend 4 people every turn. And I also, personally as a player, I am not a huge fan of the 1-cost defense events. I think they're good. I just like making, I guess, more proactive decisions rather than kind of like going to the player phase and you have no cards in your hand because you defended for everyone, which is a good thing to do. So kind of how this deck tries to mitigate the fact that I'm not really playing any 1-cost defense events. But how am I defending for the table? Obviously, we have the Indomitables in there, so you can get multiple defends. Hopefully, your Cryokinetic Perception, the card of the episode, gets you already, so you can defend for someone else. But we have other things here. So, Angel, on the account of having a team building exercise or something, down, he's like 1 cost in this deck. That's like he can activate defend for somebody. Armor is another ally, comes in with the tough, can defend for somebody if you want to flip down that turn. There's a couple allies, obviously you can chub with allies and whatnot. There's 1, 2, like 3 tough card giving allies. They either have them or they give them. And the big one I think is North Star specifically, because he is not a hero interrupt, he's just an interrupt. Anytime you flip down, you can just essentially you're defending the boost cards from people just by giving him a damage. It works out really well. And you can defend for people even when you need to flip down, make use of your alter ego ability. You have Ice Wall that can help people when you're flipped down. So like the idea is like allies are definitely more proactive and they're definitely, I would say, a stronger card type. And that's kind of like that half Spike, half Johnny in me where it's like I need to play allies because they're good. But it does protections roll. The counter punches and first aids look kind of weird in this deck. The idea behind counter punch is that it's if I'm defending and like my hand shakes out really weird, I can just spend it for like 2 damage, which is like fine. But if I don't spend it, it's a fist resource for the What Doesn't Kill Me to ready me up. And the first aid in here, I just needed a 40th card. We can heal North Star. He can stop 2 more boost icons from coming up. That's essentially the deck. You just want to defend. Different take, not with 1-cost defense events. There's no minion summoning. This is more just use the good allies and try and get value as you build out your pieces. Usually not both team building exercises, usually one, but it's in here so you can see it early because it's kind of like Cryokinetic if you squint really hard in your opening hand. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I really like the inclusion of Night Nurse here for someone who is very reliant on basic activations. Night Nurse is great. I also agree with you on North Star. I think North Star is incredible. I really like North Star in a lot of decks. Anytime you're taking hits and trying to not defend, North Star is just great because if there's a triple boost out there, you just cancel it. You just don't hit those boosts. And I like that Polaris can even give North Star a tough card, which also can help sometimes.
Yeah.
No, this is really good. A lot of tough cards in here between Armor and Polaris and Colossus. I think this is really good. Electrostatic Armor is a good include here too. I probably could have put that in my deck just if you're defending all the time. You're just going to chip away with that damage. But no, this is really good. And North Star can help you hit Unflappable too, which is another thing. No, I really like this. LT? Thoughts, critiques, feedback?
I like it. I think I am mystified at the choice to do one first aid over a third counterpunch, but I will move that aside. I think
it
North Star's
was
super
3
fun.
counter punches originally.
So it was okay. That's even weirder. That means you started out with the.
It was
better.
originally. I just thought the first aid has multiplayer.
Yeah, it's
value.
probably better. It just it is so weird to see a one of. But I do like this take on it. I like the more. You feel like you don't often see the your turn protection deck. One of my favorite decks of all time is that, but it's less common. I will say the 1-cost defense events are very good, and I think that's a hot take. But allies are good. You got fun cards in
Charred,
here.
he's cooking.
He's cooking. He's certainly cooking something.
Charred.
Indomitable appeared in both your guys' decks. I like it. I think this is fun.
Yeah. First Aid, I think, is a card that's really, really solid. And I met a person at a local meetup not that long ago who tried to convince me that First Aid is a bad card.
No.
And I am just not having it. That is an incredible
I think First Aid
take.
is one of the few cards from the core set that kind of still for real holds up.
I think there's a lot of cards that hold up from the core set. That is a hot take in and of itself.
Indomitable is from the core set.
Indomitable is good.
I don't play Indomitable. Almost ever.
Armored Vest, core set.
Unflappable's
core set?
Armored
No,
Vest.
Unflappable's not.
But I don't play Indomitable, really, ever.
Counterpunch, also. Counterpunch core set too. Another good one. Yeah, I think this is really good. Yeah, it's Defiance.
I was going to say Defiance, best flavor text in the game. Counterpunch, different.
Counterpunch, different card. Okay, that is the 2 decks. So that is it. Listeners, viewers, thanks for listening. I will put links to these decks down below in the description so you can check them out in case you want to try them yourselves. If you want to get in touch with me, winninghandpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with Char, check him out at the Charred Gambit and anywhere else you get anything. You're like the same username everywhere, you said, right?
Yeah. Basically,
excellent
everywhere.
brand consistency.
Okay.
Great job.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta stay consistent. So again, if you're a rage baiting bot on Twitter, you can also hit him there at Charred Gambit, or
Boost
if you're a normal
engagement.
human, you can go to YouTube. Yeah, boost the engagement.
I'm not a blue check.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, Char. It was great to have you. I know it took us a while to finally make this episode happen, but I'm glad you were patient. It was very nice to talk to you about a character we both love. And I hope to see you again at the Con of Heroes in the spring, and then maybe MCDC next year.
It's on my list. I'm hoping.
I love it. Awesome. LT, also, thanks for being here, but you're always here. And it was good.
I'm here.
And then next week, listeners, viewers, we will continue our deep dive into Iceman. We have another guest next time. It is the famous villain theory is going to be here, and we're going to talk about what I think is the second best card. Frozen Solid is next week's episode, so stay tuned. You're going to want to watch that one or listen to it if you're a real one. All right, thanks, everybody. It's good, and we'll talk to you next episode. Bye.
Later.
See ya.